Hey guys, Frosty Knives here, back with another video, and today we're going to do a real easy one to just slide us on into 2022. So today's going to be a book haul, and I've got a small book haul to show off. It's about 11 books. Half of the book haul comes from a little shopping spree that I took over the last couple of days at some thrift stores and some Goodwills and things like that, and the other half of the book haul are books that I had picked up way back last year sometime, I think in the summer, that I intended to do a book haul on, and then I just never got around to it. So we're going to go over all of these books and show you what I've picked up. I went back through my old book haul videos to make sure that I'm not showing you any duplicates, and I'm pretty sure that I have not shown you these before. If any of these books, well, not the first 5, but the last 6, if any of those are books you've already seen before, just pretend you haven't seen them and react appropriately. Okay, so the first set of books that I picked up, got all of these for about $1 or $2 each at the local Goodwill. First book that I picked up was by John Saul, Creature. Now, I remember reading this back in the day when I was younger. I'm not a huge John Saul fan, but every now and then I read one of his books, and they're pretty good. And I remember this one being one of his books that were pretty good. I've read a smattering of Saul over the years, and some are okay, some are good, and some are not so good. But I remember enjoying this one, so I picked it up for $1, and I figured I would reread it. So that was the first book. The second book that I found, and a lot of these books are just by authors I've never heard of, books I've never read, books I've never heard of. They were $1, and I figured I would take a shot on some of these books. The next book I picked up was a book called Seeds of Earth by Michael Cobley. It's book 1 of Humanity's Fire. And it looked interesting. Let me see here. Let me just, I'll read you a little bit off the back of the book here. It says, the first intelligent species to encounter mankind attacked without warning, with little hope of halting the invasion. Earth's last roll of the dice was to dispatch 3 colony ships, Seeds of Earth, to different parts of the galaxy. The human race would live on somewhere. So I thought that was very interesting. I saw on the back that it is the first of a trilogy. There's 2 other books in this trilogy, The Orphaned Worlds and The Ascendant Stars. So if I enjoy this book, I have 2 more to look forward to, and it's kind of a big book. It's around 600 and some odd pages. So I picked it up to see what that's all about. The next one I picked up, that's a proper heavy one right there, as they would say. This is by Peter F. Hamilton. This is called Pandoras Star. It's another science fiction novel. It's should be high on everyone's reading list. You won't be able to put it down, by the NPR. So I enjoyed the cover of this book. I picked it up. I read the back. It looks like no one's ever read it, because everything just, there's no creases, there's no real marks on the book itself. So I wonder if somebody got this and looked at it and went nah, and then handed it in, or they were very careful with the way they read. Some people are like that. That's how I read. So maybe it was just a very careful reader. This was another science fiction novel, an imaginative and stunning tale of the perfect future threatened. Now that's a review. Let's see. The year is 2380. The intersolar commonwealth, the sphere of stars, contains more than 600 worlds interconnected by a web of transport tunnels known as wormholes. Well, they're just wormholes. At the farthest edge of the Commonwealth, astronomer Dudley Bowes observes the impossible. Over 1,000 light years away, a star disappears. and then they go and explore why the star disappeared. So it sounded interesting. Again, this is another hefty novel. This one is almost 1,000. This is 988 pages. New smell book. I love the smell of new book smell. So I picked that one up for $1. Thought that would be kind of interesting. And then, because I'm kind of on a fantasy kick right now, I found this book by Patrick Rothfuss. Hope I said that right. Patrick Rothfuss, The Name of the Wind. This is a fantasy novel. This is another one. Another one got some girth to it. 722 pages. I seem to have a thing for books that have lots of pages in them. And this is another fantasy novel, and it looks like the who's who of fantasy authors have sort of endorsed this book, because on the back there is a quote from Ursula Le Guin. It is a rare and great pleasure to find a fantasist writing with true music in his words. There's a quote from Terry Brooks. Patrick Rothfuss has real talent. On the inside, there's a quote from Orson Scott Card. There's a quote from Anne McCaffrey. There's a quote from Tad Williams. So I guess the who's who of fantasy and sci-fi have read this and sort of slapped their name on it. But it sounded interesting. It's written in the first person. I don't generally always like first-person books. But it sounded interesting. What does the back say? My name is Kavoth. I hope I said that right. My name is Kavoth. I have stolen princesses back from sleeping barrow kings. I burned down the town of Trebon. I have spent the night with Felurian and left with both my sanity and my life. I was expelled from the university at a younger age than most people are allowed in. I tread paths by moonlight that others fear to speak of during day. I have talked to gods, loved women, and written songs that make the minstrels weep. You may have heard of me. And this is how the story begins, apparently. So begins a tale unequaled in fantasy literature. They say that a lot, right? Unequaled in insert genre literature. So we'll see. But it sounded very interesting. And again, $1. So I picked it up. And then to round everything out, because I am all over the place with my reading tastes, they had an Agatha Christie novel. Agatha Christie Halloween Party, and I picked that up too. Nice little murder mystery to cleanse the palate from all of the big stuff. This is a Hercule Poirot murder mystery. So if you like Christie, I do like a good Agatha Christie. I do like a good murder mystery. So I don't have a lot of her stuff. I only have one of her books, I believe. I have And Then There Were None. So, and I do like reading murder mysteries, especially these kind, because they kind of keep you guessing. So that was the first on the first book haul. The second book haul, it's on this side of the table. The second book haul, we'll go on into that. So first thing we got for this one is a book that I have read in the past. And I did enjoy it. This is a book by Richard Lehman. This is The Traveling Vampire Show. I've read this. I think I read this on my Kindle. Maybe I read it as a paperback. No, I think I read it on my Kindle. So I read it, and I enjoyed it, and I found the book, and I said, oh, well, I'll pick that up, and we'll give that another read again at some point. So here is The Traveling Vampire Show. It's one of those, I think, if I remember right, one of those like traveling circus fairs type deals where they have like sideshows. They just happen to have vampires, if I remember that correctly. But I did like it from what I remember. And then the next 4 books are all by the same author. They are all by Timothy Zahn. As you may know, I am a big Star Wars fan. And so I read all of... Right up there is all of my Star Wars paperbacks, the expanded universe right there. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and with that, I am a big Timothy Zahn fan. So I've read all of his Star Wars books that he's written, all with the exception of the new stuff, a couple of the new ones. and I really enjoyed them, but I wanted to read stuff that he wrote that wasn't Star Wars oriented. I wanted to read his originals. So I've got 4 Zahn novels that I picked up because, like McCaffrey and like certain authors, when I sort of go on these kicks where if I really like an author, I'll start looking for their work and I'll start collecting their work. You do that with King. You do that. I did that with McCaffrey. I've done that with a few other people. So maybe that'll be how Zahn goes. We'll see after, I have to read his originals to see if they're as good as the Star Wars novels. And then we'll go from there. So the first 3 books are the 3 books. I'm going to put it this way so I show you them in order. Are all 3 books in one of his trilogies. And this is, I think, is it the Conqueror's trilogy? I don't know if it has a name, but it's an entire trilogy. So I have all 3 of the books, so that's good. Here's the first one, Timothy Zahn's Conqueror's Pride, Book 1, the Conqueror's Trilogy. I don't know if it's called the Conqueror's Trilogy, but I'm calling it that. Followed up by Conqueror's Heritage, Book 2 of the same trilogy. And then, oopsie, we got Book 3, Conqueror's Legacy of the trilogy. So I have all 3 of those books, and then the last Zahn novel that I picked up because it's Zahn and I really enjoyed the cover is The Icarus Hunt by Timothy Zahn, masterpiece of imagination, intrigue, and adventure. So we'll give these a go, and we'll see how his originals stack up to his Star Wars books. And once again, cheap plug, if you like Star Wars and you've never read Zahn, you should. And if you don't like Star Wars but you like science fiction, you should still read Zahn novels because they're good. They're that good. He has a better grasp on Star Wars, I think, a lot of times than even George, or definitely even Disney. So they're good books, really well written. So guys, that is my book haul for the new year. Got lots of things to read, lots of things to do, lots of series coming down the pike, as it were. So hope you enjoyed it. If anybody has read any of these books, as always, let me know how they are, what you thought of them, if you thought they were good, if you thought they were terrible, if you thought I wasted my money, if you're really excited about any of the books and you want to talk about it, let me know down below in the comments. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit little bells, dings and dongs, and as always, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, share it with anybody who would like to watch an old man ramble on about books. As always, I will see you guys in the next video.